Okay, it's preparing the live stream and webinar.
Gonna have a chocolate seminar, a webinar. We're now streaming live on YouTube.
But you know what? I don't think it's, yeah, but you know what? It's not streaming on the right channel. Oh, just a second, because I just messed something up. Okay. Okay, so the thing is, though, it's streaming on the wrong channel. It's streaming on, oh, no, it is on Beyond 90 Seconds. That's good. I look down below, and there we are. So that's good. Well, hey, everybody, if anybody's going to drop in, hey, Kit is here. Kit, this is awesome. I can see Kit commenting on YouTube. So Kit, this is more or less a test. It's actually live trial by fire, and I'm sure error. I'm using Zoom. I'm using Zoom webinar. So I have to pay a bit more for that above my regular Zoom account. But I've been watching a program lately that's on YouTube. And it's a friend of mine recommended it who's in the video business. He sells video equipment, DVE store, my friend Guy Cochran. And I've been watching him on this YouTube channel with several other people, a gentleman named Alex. They talk tech. They talk live streaming. They talk gear related to live streaming, software for doing graphics, video, you name it. And I am just loving it. And it's not a race to just blast, and get as many viewers and thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. What it's really about is community. And it's fine to have a low number. It's about the community itself. And if you have a good community, you'll get what do you call it? Playtime. What I mean by that is not kids messing around. I mean that you'll get a longer duration of views because it'll be meaningful content, helpful content to some people. So I'm not going to be talking nonstop. I have questions for Janine Sedola, who has joined us. How you doing, Janine?
I'm doing really well tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. What I think I'd like to do first, though, I was wondering, man, you know what? It would be great if I can get that URL for Zoom. And I know there's a way to do this, Janine. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it for the YouTube folks. If they want to even jump over to Zoom, if they have a Zoom account, they can do so. And Zoom is free. And they can participate there as an attendee, just like they're attending in a sense on YouTube. But if it's someone like Kit and she wants to join on camera, we can bring her on board too. I think I can have up to 100 or 500 people. I can't remember the number. And we could, I could put it on grid view, which is a way to, let's see, gallery view. That's what they call it. So now we've got you and I. And if we had 10 people, we could all be on here. So, well, I've got you here, Janine. Before I share the link on YouTube, is the lighting okay on me or does it look too dark?
No, it's great.
How does the audio sound?
Audio sounds great.
Excellent. One of the things I really, I'm going to sit on this for just a second, because once I launch into this topic, which I know I think you're going to appreciate and find of interest, before I do that, YouTube wants to send me notifications. I just want to get this link over here. Let's put my drink over here. Okay, we'll allow YouTube to do notifications. And now let's find my browser. We're going to find where that Zoom link is. Okay, I think it's over here. You know what I did? So I'm using my wife's laptop, and the reason I'm using it, it is quieter than my PC. My PC is going on 8 years old. I got it in 2013, and it makes all these bells and whistles sounds whenever it has to do anything that requires CPU. and it was made for video editing. At the time, it was pretty darn nice and powerful, but its fans trigger, and it's in what's called the BIOS, I think the BIOS settings, but it makes my old PC just whistle and do things intermittently, a lot of noise. In fact, and the fans blast. And I'm in a room. So this is basically, it's an extra room, or it's really a basement. It's down here. And I turned it into my office. And it's a decent sized office space for a home office. But because of that computer making that noise, I wanted to build an audio booth, or I wanted to make something. I was even going to use U-Haul blankets or whatever. But one of my brothers, I have two brothers who work in construction, and one of them, um, he said he'd build it for me. He came over here, and so he took this existing basement and he put a wall over here inside this much larger room, and he put a wall over here, and he put like 2 sheets of sheetrock. I mean, he made it real nice, painted it, and I put up the phone. But he built this and put a door in here, so I've got this space. I'm very fortunate for that, but it's really been underused. In fact, in recent months, I brought the camera out of here, um, and the microphone, the ring light, and you've seen me in my regular office when we've done some video chats on Messenger or what have you. And then I started storing stuff in here because we don't have enough room for all our stuff, or what we really need to do is get rid of stuff. Um, because what's the old saying? You want to own some things, but you don't want your things to own you, right? Can you relate? Maybe
Totally.
not. You
Totally.
can. Okay, you can. So I've been watching this podcast. Well, actually, it's a video program. It's every day in the morning, and I'm not usually up in time to watch it at 7 o'clock, and I'm getting ready for work. And they also do it in the evening. And it got me so fired up. I said, I've got to clean this room out. In fact, some of the acoustic foam had come down. 3 of the larger pieces had come down, so I got everything out of here. All the stuff that I had a mattress in here, and got the boxes, and I put up those fallen pieces of acoustic foam, and I'm back in business. So here I am. I'm just, and I started thinking about it because it really hit me when this guy talked about community, and it's not about all the graphics. People want to engage. I don't need to make this super fancy. I need to try and look presentable, not dark, and I need to sound, so you can hear me. And that's what I think this room can already do. And it just made perfect sense to me. So this is the very first one, Janine, and you're here, and Kit is watching, or she was. Yeah, she is. Well, I don't know. She hasn't answered anything else. I don't have any trains or bald eagles to show. That's probably an issue. So let me find the link real quick for Zoom. I sent it to you in an email. I know that. But I think I can grab it at another place too. So invitations, invite attendees, copy invitation. And I will put this in the YouTube chat. Here we go. Will it not let me paste it? It's not going to let me paste it. Come on, let's try that again. Copy invitation. Okay, here we go. I'll hit enter. Oh, there we go, Kit. Thank you. So I think, oh, you know what? It's too many characters. So let me, here, we'll blast some of this out. Appreciate the patience. Is this something that interests you, Janine, in terms of something you might be in? I mean, you're here, so it suggests that you're at least polite enough to indulge me when I'm doing a test and so forth. But is this the kind of thing that you can see some potential for?
Oh, well, this is awesome. Look, I even bought this little light here. Did you see this?
No, where?
Can you see this light that I have?
I just see you right now. I don't see a light.
Can you see this?
I just see you. I can't see your hands.
Oh, can you see my
Oh,
face?
you know what? You know what? I tell you what the issue is. I'm looking at the YouTube feed and there's a lag.
Oh,
So that would be the issue. So hold on. Yeah, now I see it. Absolutely. You got yourself a ring light.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really cheap. It was only, I think, $15, but and it is very bright, but it does make a difference.
Let's see you put it on.
And what I do is I just put this little cover on it, and it seems to not be as bright on the eyes.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Just a
And then
second. Let me here. I am gonna move this back over here. And so now I can see you in live time. Okay. Yeah. Feel free to fire it up. I can take it
okay.
off of you for a second if you want to just oh no,
So there's
we'll keep you on. Yeah,
there's
go
different settings. You can
start
go.
with the lowest setting, I would
Okay.
suggest.
Um, there's the lower one. So there's bright and there's low. So it is helpful. Um, if anyone wants to do this type of thing, it's good to have proper lighting. But and you can do it inexpensively. I think that was $15.
Yeah, well, I commend you for doing that. What spurred you to do that, Janine?
It was a Christmas present that I bought for my daughter, and she didn't want it.
Oh,
So now I have it.
right on. Well, speaking of spending, I ordered just some small things. Um, this room gets warm. I mean, it gets warm. So I went on Amazon. Well, first of all, I Googled, I watched some videos, and I watched one guy claim that he had a really, he found a fan that is very quiet. Now I can hear it. The thing is, this mic is coming at me this way. It's not pointed toward this fan. It's a small fan. It's a USB fan. And I'm here to tell you, it's a game changer. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's keeping me cool. I have sat here, and by this time, because the air is stagnant, there's no ventilation. I do have a hole about this big that I purposely, my brother, I cut that in the wall for me, because what I used to do is I would be in here and have a monitor, and the monitor would have a cable going through the wall that my brother built. We put it through this hole, and I ran it to the far end of the larger office here into my noisy PC. But you wouldn't hear the PC because I'm in this room now. So this was my extreme solution. Well, now I'm using my wife's laptop. It's quiet compared to my PC. So I it's just nice. It's low impact too. So I like that. Then I got another power strip, um, surge protector. That may not seem like a big thing, but this is a cool one because it's got 12 outlets on it. 12. And I tend to plug a lot of things in. And so you have on the main center, you have, I don't know, it's like five or six of them. And then you have the remaining ones on the side, and they can even be rotated. So that helps you finesse with some of the larger plugs. So that is awesome. Let me just see if there's anything else going in the chat here on Zoom. No, it was just you a while ago saying, "Can you see me?" And I did. Kit says, "Can't hear it. She can't hear the fan." So that's awesome. Thank you, Kit. Let me. Oh, and by the way, and it just put Kim instead of Kit, I think, when I spoke. I'm using closed captioning. There are various settings for it. I'm choosing the automatically generated closed captioning. In fact, I don't think I have. So if you go down to the bottom and you see your choices, you can see that there's a CC. It's to the right, hopefully on your player if you're using Zoom. And it says live transcript, and there's a CC. Do you see it in your Zoom application there, Janine?
Live transcript.
Yeah. So if
Yes.
you click
See?
that, the little arrow to the right, you can click show subtitles, and you can also click view full transcript.
Oh, look at that.
So now you'll have closed captioning and you'll have a transcript on the right. And you have them both like I do right now, or you can just have the transcript, or you can just have the closed captioning. I think Zoom calls it subtitles. For the record, though, and YouTube calls it subtitles too. Subtitles, by the strict definition, are the text that appears on the screen, translated from the broadcast or video content language to another language. Captioning is when the language that is spoken in the video is burned directly onto the video, so you can't turn it on or off. Closed captioning is when you have the language that is spoken in text, and you can turn it on or off so it appears or does not appear on the screen. I've done a lot of closed captioning, and I use a closed captioning service that a lot of people are familiar with called rev.com. And I put great stock in captioning. It's at the risk of going on my soapbox here, it is at least required by law for government agencies, by state and federal law and policies. So we have to be what's called 508 compliant as a state agency where I work. So there's that. If you're not doing it, you're assuming risk. But more so than that, I really feel like it's the right thing to do. And and I was this way until just a few years ago. The default for many of us is it helps deaf people. Well, it's that and a whole lot more, because I know that I now have captioning on almost always when I watch television. When I watch Netflix or Amazon Prime movies, I find that it helps me absorb the information. And studies show that that is the case. And sometimes you can't always hear everything very clearly. And I really appreciate good captioning. A lot of the BBC programs have fantastic captioning. So my wife and I have both done captioning work now, and we've used software to do it. But I'm more often than not, I default to rev.com. This is not a paid advertisement, but even when I get their files, I play with them to make them even better. And sometimes they make some errors. Errors are crucial because you don't want them. Some people will say, well, if you got 90% of it right, that's good enough. Well, that means you got 1 out of 10 words wrong. And that is enough to create confusion. And it's also enough to create the opposite, or something that you definitely don't want communicated. And then, just for awareness, for those people who like to take advantage of metadata and everything else that can help them appear higher in search engines, if your video has captioning associated with it, closed captioning, Google and other search engines recognize that. And it makes your content likely more of an authority than many of the non-captioned videos. So if you want to, even just for the sole sake, if that's what floats your boat of driving search so that you're found, captioning, closed captioning will definitely enrich your profile for the likes of Google and rank you higher than where you're sitting at right now. So those are important things to consider when it comes to captioning. Does that make sense?
Yes, it also teaches you how to spell.
Yeah, it teaches you how to spell. Yeah. But you want to avoid bad captioning. I've even watched a video with this. It was very powerful for me. It was a woman who is deaf, and she was talking about a video that was badly captioned. Now, it was a live video, so that is harder to do well, but it can be done well. Because there are people who are like stenographers, court stenographers. There are people who are very good at typing very quickly and getting it nearly 100% accurate, or reasonably close. And then there are people who are nowhere close to that, or services that are nowhere close to that. And when it, as I mentioned earlier, has around 90% or less accuracy, that can not only be dangerous in terms of the information being wrong or unclear, it can just create a lot of frustration for that deaf person. Really frustrating. It's like, I don't know if the word would be insulting. It was this woman who expressed her opinion on this in a video, this deaf woman, or a woman who is deaf. She was really well spoken. She signed it, but I thought it was powerful. So if you're going to do it, don't do it lazily so, shall we say, is one way of putting it. Trying to put your best foot forward. And I think that you'll feel good about it. And it'll also boost the integrity of your product and your if you're a brand or your channel or whatever it is you're producing. So there's that. Well, Janine, I tell you what, I'm looking over on YouTube. We've got 2 people watching. How about that? I'm what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this over to Tom and Triple Talk because I haven't done that yet. My monitor situation is crazy because I've by HDMI. So here's the laptop in front of me. I got a monitor over here, but I've got to change the displays right now. When I want to go to that monitor, my cursor's going the wrong way. So it's everything's opposite right now. So it's kind of confusing. But let me grab this. And we'll share it. You know what? I'm going to blast it on Twitter. How about that? We'll see if we get people in that way. Sell any houses today?
I am working so hard. I'm working 20-hour days, 7 days a week. It's incredible. I did find some interesting insurance lately. You know how we always talk about earthquakes? Well,
Yes.
I found some insurance that covers the deductible for your home insurance. If there's an earthquake, you know how there's a deductible.
Yeah.
Well, it covers that, so you can buy separate insurance.
Wow.
So I did that.
So you learned about this today?
No, I just bought it. It was time to renew my insurance, and we're in the west coast of Canada, and the chances of an earthquake are pretty extreme. And my deductible on my house would be $80,000 or $90,000. So the first 90,000 of whatever damage is done, you have to pay for yourself. So I actually got insurance on my deductible. So now I would only have to pay the first $2,500 when the big one happens. So if my house gets flattened,
Oh no. We don't want that. Historically speaking, Vancouver Island has seen some very big earthquakes. In fact, Vancouver Island, if I recall correctly, has had the largest land-based earthquake in modern history, at least in the 1900s, the 20th century, in all of Canada. I remember reading that on Wikipedia, and it was north of you. It was approaching Mid Island or just south of that. I can't remember what the area is called, but it was a 7 point something. Oh, you're froze, Janine. Have we lost you? Looks like we lost Janine. We'll try and bring her back right now. Meantime, let's go back to comments on YouTube and make sure that hopefully we can get her back here shortly. Okay, it says can't hear it. Kit is saying cannot hear it. That is interesting. So if anybody's just tuning in, I'm learning my way trial by error, trial by fire on Zoom webinar and streaming it live to YouTube. So I decided I wouldn't simply just read all the documentation because I may never do it. Get to the end of it. I've read a little bit and I thought I'll just dive in and try and build a community here. And I can do it so by being very transparent and very human and showing you me fumbling my way through this. My friend Janine on Vancouver Island, Nanaimo, British Columbia, she joined us and she was with us and the connection was great right off the top. She was with us the entire time up until just, about 3 minutes ago when I tweeted a link to this Zoom webinar. So I got a comment here. Let's see what Kat says. It's my bedtime. I have a big hike in the morning. Beautiful wildflowers. Can't hear it. Was your fan? Okay, I can't hear it. All right, I'm referring to the fan. Well, that's great news, Kit. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful hike tomorrow, Kit. Kit's in Redding, California, and it's apparently still nice enough, not too hot, because that'll get here soon enough. And there isn't anything really burning for the moment. And Kit knows of what I speak because it's just been a bad couple of years or so for wildfires in that area. But she's going to go out and look for wildflowers while the going's still good in Redding, California. So have a good night's rest, Kit. Thanks for dropping in. I really appreciate it. Meantime, let's see if Janine can get back in here. We lost her, and I'll see. I'm familiarizing myself. I've lost my participant. That was Janine. She's not an attendee. So what we'll do is we'll just send her another invite. It very well may be, I'm going to speculate here. It may be that she was running on her laptop or her iPad, and it may not have been plugged in, and maybe she lost power. But knowing Janine, she's a safety expert when it comes to earthquakes. Truly, she works with volunteers, and she has her ham radio and the whole 9 yards. Very conscious of emergency preparedness. So I would think she's of the mindset to watch her battery and make sure that she's plugged in when doing a live event. So I am going to try and invite her one more time. She may try and join on her phone. We'll see. And then just give me a minute here as we try and straighten this out. And if we don't get her back on, that's fine. I've got some things to share that are top of mind. And, hopefully in future weeks, we'll get more and more people on and get a panel going and start building a community. And I've got some thoughts on that. So let's try Janine again. Okay, I'll try this again. There we go. Let's see if we get her back. So one of the reasons I'm doing this and getting my feet wet, as awkward as this may seem, one of the reasons I'm doing it is I'm looking for an alternative to what I had been doing for a number of years, which was on Periscope. I know Periscope wasn't front of mind for a lot of people who enjoy live streams. Maybe prefer Facebook. A lot more people do. YouTube. But I found that on Periscope and Twitter, many of us were building a really nice community of regulars who would join and engage, comment, and even on occasion join as a live guest with audio and video, which was really cool. And this was people all over the world. So I thought to myself, what would be a good alternative? And before, if you don't know, Periscope ceased to exist on March 31st of this year. And it had come on board in March of 2015. So it was a 6-year ride, 6 years of building up audiences and relationships and familiar hellos, how you doing? And so forth. So one of the things I considered was HAPS, and I've been on there a few times, and there's definitely a lot that's exciting happening on HAPS, and I'm sure I'll pop up there still. Personally, I understand that they've got to find a way to sustain and pay for the platform and have incentives for participants, especially broadcasters. So are these coins, and there's a big emphasis on coins. You're not going to find that here. And there's the reason for that is I don't want that to be, I don't want clutter. I want nothing to get in the way of us. I want to be able to, for us to all connect. And when others join me, I want us all to be able to connect and just keep it simple. Make sure we can be seen with reasonable lighting and good sound, and that's it. And then share knowledge, share maybe a good story or two along the way, and have a family friendly community, and one where we can share the knowledge. So that is where my mind is on it. So let me go to the chat. I need to click that. Okay, looks like there's nothing new there. And let's bring up YouTube because I was just looking at the Zoom chat. I've got to find it.
I'm back.
Janine, where'd you go?
It said it was unstable and it just, boom, it cut me off.
Wow. Yeah, because it was, I was saying while you were away that your signal was great from the beginning, the video quality and the sound. I mean, in terms of strength of signal, are you getting enough bandwidth in your pipeline? I thought everything was going great. And then so to have you, you'll get a kick out of this, to have you suddenly disappeared, it felt like there must be another reason. And I speculated, well, maybe her iPad or her laptop battery died. But then I thought, well, no, not Janine. She's one to be prepared. She's all about emergency preparedness. I talked about your ham radio and the earthquake volunteers response group and so forth. So I think that Janine would know that she had sufficient battery power or would be plugged in, right? Are you on an iPad or are you on a laptop?
I'm on my 28-inch screen Mac.
So
it's an iMac.
Oh, on an iMac, better yet. So you've got power. That wasn't the issue. It was apparently signal strength. Okay, well, that's interesting.
Something happened to make it unstable, but it looked like I had full strength.
Yeah. One of the things I did, in case somebody's watching this might be of interest, because we like to share like our gear and our little solutions and even the hurdles that we still have yet to overcome. I will share that one thing I did today was, well, I ordered a 25-foot long Ethernet cord that arrived today. Because I do have an Ethernet port outside the store and on the other end of this larger office. And out of that, so there's an Ethernet cable that comes out of the wall and it goes into a switcher. It's got like 5 ports, 1 in, 4 out. So I can have up to 4 devices. I wanted to go out of that with a 25-foot long cord, bring it through that hole in the wall that I mentioned that I had down near the floor, and bring it in here, but not simply plug into the laptop. No, I wanted to get another switcher, one of those little boxes, and see if I could daisy chain, basically go from one box to one box. So basically 10 ports in all, and it works. So, and in full disclosure, this laptop does not have an Ethernet port. It has a little Anchor USB Ethernet strip that connects to this laptop in the USB port. So what does that mean? It means that it's a little strip that's got 3 USB ports. So I can plug in my camera. I'm using my DSLR for this live stream. My microphone is going through a couple of pieces of hardware. It comes out of the Scarlett, the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 and into that power strip. What is the third thing? I have a third thing going in there and I'm not sure what it is. Oh, you know what it is? And I could have done this. It's another way to, I have 2 ways to bring an Ethernet. So on the end of that little panel, so you have the 3 USB ports on top. On the end, on the side, the butt end, there's an Ethernet connection. So it goes into that. And so so it goes through that little strip and then into the laptop that way. And what's cool about that little strip is it doesn't require power. That's really important. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of times I spend more time outdoors than I do indoors doing this. And if I take my iPad and I go out, if I want to, I have some mics that I could take with me. I mean, I always bring my wireless mics, but I have I have a a really old, what they call blue snowball. It's actually a white one that was Mac only back in the day. I still have it from like really probably 10 years ago. And then I got a Rode NT, is it Rode NT USB? It's a USB microphone. So if I took my iPad out and I wanted to go and shoot something and then edit it on the iPad and record voiceover audio track, I could do that. So I can plug all those USB devices, not just through one little adapter, but this one strip with 3 ports. I love it. It's really, really cool. It's a great solution to do some mobile work and have, very small, low impact amount of gear, which is crazy compared to days of the past when I was in TV news. So yeah. Um, so can I hit you up a bit more about real estate since I have you here?
Sure.
All right. Let's make sure, first of all, that I've got you. I'm going to bring you up over here. Just make sure there's nothing else I'm missing. And then, no, the audio is good. I just heard it. Okay, so I want to see that chat. Okay, Kit said, I will. Thank you. Our 3 eaglets are 4 weeks and healthy. That was a parting comment from Kit down in Redding, California. She follows, as well as people around the world, a bald eagle nest there. And every year we get to see the eaglets, and there's a webcam, and she says they're 4 weeks old now, 3 of them, and they're all doing well. That's great to hear. So for those who don't know, Janine is a real estate agent in British Columbia on Vancouver Island in Nanaimo. Look her up if you're buying property or you need to sell down there, or from here up there. Janine, you've been in real estate for how long?
Should I say how long?
That's
Decades?
your call. Okay, decades.
Decades.
And you've spent your entire life, with the exception of a few months to a year, I think, where you were in the Toronto area, if I remember correctly. You've been your entire life on Vancouver Island. Right.
Yeah.
So would it be safe to say that you've never seen a time like this in real estate?
That's correct.
So what are the unique characteristics of real estate in Canada, or at least on Vancouver Island in British Columbia at this time?
I think it's more of a global thing. Real estate is very active right now. People are thinking that the dollar is diminishing in value. And, I hear that, the dollar's going down by about 5% every year, and the real estate here is going up 20%. So people are land banking. So they're coming here, and British Columbia is probably the most desirable place in Canada. The climate is so good, that. We live very close to each other. You're not very far away. But everybody's coming here, and now people are calling it, instead of calling it BC for British Columbia, they're calling it BC for bring cash.
You used a term which seems self-explanatory, but I hadn't heard it before, land banking. So that's a thing, huh?
Yes. Protect your dollar, put it into land or hard assets. Yeah, I mean, even a car is a hard asset.
What it made me think of was something a bit exponentially beyond that, and that's people from wide and far just buying up properties. Like some people might invest in a variety of stocks and stuff. It seems like there are people out there buying up multiple properties, and maybe they may not even live in them. Although I think if I'm up on the news, that used to be an issue in British Columbia, but now I don't know if it's a law that just flat out doesn't allow it, or if there are laws that make that very suddenly undesirable.
Well, they're working on changing, the system so that people, they want people to be able to buy homes and not just have it speculation. So they're doing things to slow it down, and they're having emergency meetings to try to decide what to do.
Is this a good time? At first blush, it would seem to be a good time to be a real estate agent. Is it?
It's a very difficult time. It's very difficult to find properties for someone. If you wanted to buy a house, we'd have to make offers on about 5 or 10 before I could secure one for you. It's all multiple offers. Some of the houses have 18 offers on them. Some of them are going for hundreds of thousands of dollars over list price. So it's difficult for the average person who sees a house for a certain amount and then makes an offer based on that price and then gets disappointed because it sells for $100,000 more than that.
Yeah, you're getting a front row seat to a lot of human drama, aren't you?
It's very difficult. There's a lot of buyer's fatigue, and I would say that there's realtor fatigue as well. I've heard some realtors that are, just kind of standing back now and maybe taking a bit of a holiday because it's so difficult. I have so many people calling me all at once. I'm working from the minute I stand on the ground in the morning till, I retire at night. It's phone calls. My phone is going off like a machine gun. It's bing, bing, bong. Mm.
And I hope I'm not stepping out of bounds here. You're thinking about selling, right? Are
Yes.
you still doing that, contemplating that? Would you stay in Nanaimo?
Well, I'm not really sure, but I guess while I'm working, as long as I keep working, I will be here because, I know it well and it's a good place to, make a living. If I went somewhere else, I wouldn't know the market as well. So right now, people come to me, and if I started somewhere else, that probably wouldn't happen.
Something that's been going on for I would months or maybe a couple of years now is this phenomena of this such demand for housing. Well, I guess really since it's been a year, it's really amplified because of COVID-19. People are being allowed, many people, to work virtually. And it's a lot of businesses are finding that it works. It works so well that they'll allow many employees to continue to do so once this, touch wood, finally settles down, right?
Mhm.
So there are people who are snatching up homes in many Western states, and including, like Montana, um, Idaho. And I've heard stories, it's been, last year I was hearing stories of people just calling and buying as soon as something hits the market, and they're doing so from out of state without ever visiting the property,
Mhm.
never having been to the location, perhaps even before, the city. So are you seeing a lot of that type of thing happening on Vancouver Island?
Yeah, people are buying sight unseen. That's for sure. Yeah, and not just here, but all across Canada, and I hear it's the same in the United States. And I do think it's a global thing.
Hmm. Well, let's switch gears real quick to the beach and the herring spawn. A year ago, we had fun working on a project about the herring spawn because through all those years of your living on Vancouver Island, last year you saw the wildlife activity related to a herring spawn, wondering not what was going on at first, and then we figured out it was the herring. Because that happens around the island, especially in the Strait of Georgia, right?
Hmm.
Um, but it doesn't necessarily always happen along your stretch of beach, if you will. Last year it did, and that was really incredible to learn about the surf scoters, which are ducks on the water that feast there are thousands of them feasting on those millions of eggs or billions, as well as the sea lions and all the activity related to it. And they returned to your Neck Point Park, the beach there again this year. But correct me if I'm wrong, the difference this year, because I'm going off your pictures, is that at low tide, you just had a beach carpeted with herring eggs. Is that a fair observation?
Yeah, I've never seen that before either. This year was different from last year. and that there were so many eggs all over the beach. And this year, just recently too, there was a big bloom, and so the tide looked orange. And I guess it's red tide or some sort of algae or bloom. It was beautiful this year too. I didn't get any pictures of that though.
The red tide may have been beautiful, but that's not a good situation for
Mm,
shellfish.
no.
And they discourage people from, well, they usually put signs up and say, don't clam, don't, eat uh, seafood from this beach during a red tide. Um, let's talk about real quick.
Oh, the iPhone 12 Pro Max that you just bought. Yes,
Well, you got yours a couple of months or more ago. I know that.
right here. It's
Yeah, there
big.
you go. Yeah, yeah.
I find that I drop it all the time. It's so big and heavy that it just slides out of my hand, or if I put it down, it slides off the couch and onto the floor. But it's really durable. Durable? Do you find that? Have you dropped yours yet?
Knock on wood again. No, I have not
Mm.
yet. It will happen, no doubt. I think I almost did, but I caught it as it was going down. Um, I, so yeah, I just got mine a few days ago, and so far I'm really liking it. Without that haptic touch, the circle that I had on my 7 Plus, that's all gone. And so I'm getting used to how to show multiple apps at once or close apps. But I'm catching up. I know that what. So I have two iPhones here. Here is my 7 Plus. I still have it. I did not trade it in. And here is the iPhone 12 Max. So it's if it's bigger, it's not much bigger. It's a few millimeters, at best, I would say, in terms of height. And then if I put them back to back, yeah, it's just a little bit wider, it seems, or right about the same though. So that said, when I handle this iPhone 12 Pro Max, um, I do notice that my thumb is working harder to get things done because I'm all about the thumb, and um, so that suggesting that it's a bigger phone, but when I put them back to back, they feel about the same.
Is it heavier?
I was thinking that it is, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I have not
Yeah.
weighed them.
See,
I got a
seems.
really nice lightweight clear back case, but I got the color is Pacific blue.
Oh, I got blue too. Did you get the charger, the magnetic charger on the
No,
back?
I didn't. In fact, that was never even discussed. I did it through my phone provider, which is Verizon, and I didn't even think to do that. I should have done that. Are you using it and do you like it?
Yeah, I ordered it separately.
Yeah.
But I don't find that it charges any faster than the other one.
Yeah, but you also don't spend time A, hunting for a USB cable,
Yeah.
and B, hoping that that USB cable works and not struggling and fiddling. Like on my iPhone 7 Plus right now, I swear in the last 2 months, it's just like after one of the updates, it just went battery went down, and this the charging end of it, you have to wiggle the thing in there and just hold it and make it just right. And you know what it's
Yeah.
like when you put that in there and it's like you hear ding 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 because it's going charging, not charging, charging, not
Yeah.
charging. Oh, the frustration. So you don't have to deal with that as well. I, so do you plug what is it called, magnetic charger? I'm not sure what you call it.
Yeah, it's
You
right
could,
here.
is there an adapter that would allow you to use that in the car as well?
Oh, I never thought of that. I wonder if it would work.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can, I mean, you can take that
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
it would seem
but
that you
it's,
could.
yeah, it just goes on the back and then,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll share. I helped someone out with their iPhone today. A coworker made me feel like a tech hero, but it's a very a probably well-known thing to many iPhone users. She was sending me a photo that I needed for a presentation at work, and the photo was on her phone. And she would go from her camera roll on her iPhone. I don't know which one she has, and she would choose to email it to me. And she told me that she had actually done this a couple days ago, but I never got it. So she tried it again today and I got it. There was nothing there. I said, I tell you what, instead of emailing it from your phone, just send it to me with a text, And so she did that and I got it. And I tried to email it to myself and it wouldn't work. Now, what I suspected was that it was a live photo. That Apple has this,
Mm,
where you see a little bit of motion before and after the photo was taken, like a little
right.
mini video. Well, I think I'm trying to remember what's .hec or something, HECV or something. I can't remember that. It's not a JPEG, it's not a PNG. Um, and she said, yeah, you know what? I did. I shot that as a live photo. I should have done portrait, right? And I said, no, you don't have to. You don't need to do that. I don't even. You don't need to do that to avoid that. You need to turn the live off. And she said, you mean I can be in the camera app on photo and turn the live off? I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. Did you know that, Janine?
Yep, I did.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's up in
just
the right-hand corner of that circle. You just tap
right.
it, and there's a diagonal line that goes through, and it says
Yeah,
live is off.
yeah.
And that's kind of cool too, because there are some storage places or some other applications that don't play nice with that file format of a live photo. So sometimes I've had to troubleshoot that by like uploading it. I think I've uploaded those photos to Dropbox and then downloaded them. Thinking it can change the format. I think that's what I did, but it was something like that. So that can be a hassle. Oh, by the way, I got to tell you, I mentioned that podcast, or not podcast, but the daily video series that's much like this with a webinar on YouTube, where these guys are all talking tech. And they did this deal on one of their recent videos where they took a turn in the second hour of each of them who wanted to play along could show their studio. I mean, these guys, they have it. I mean, they have all the live streaming gear and computers and stacks of this and that. I mean, it's just incredible. So I really enjoyed that. But one of the guys, so what they would do is they would typically go from their main camera to their phone, and they use something called NDI to turn, use their phone camera to say, I got, this over here and my setup over here and this. One of them though used his DJI Osmo 3 gimbal, just like the one so you got it right.
Hmm.
Yeah, the one I have. And I thought, oh, hey, Janine, he's using the gimbal. And it looked a lot better too. you know. Speaking of that gimbal, I don't know if you heard me say it recently, but I used the iPhone 12 Pro Max with the DJI Osmo
Hmm.
3 gimbal, and I did it with this case on it, and it worked like a charm. I bring that up because I did some before I purchased the phone. I read some, I did some Googling and I found a thread. I think it must have been on, I can't remember. It might have been DJI or Apple. Someone asked, will the iPhone 12 Pro Max work with that gimbal, the Osmo 3? And there was one guy who said yes, another guy who said no, but then a guy with DJI itself said no. So I thought I still wanted to get this phone. I wasn't going to let that deter me. So I ordered it anyway. And I was delighted when I tested it, it worked for me.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe what he was referring to, just this is speculation, is maybe he meant the full package, which would include the app, because DJI has the app as well that you have on your phone, and you can do some, the connectivity issues with it for more control on the phone, so with the camera. So maybe that's what he meant. But yeah, this thing works like a charm with that
Oh,
gimbal.
the app works for me.
Oh, do you use the app?
I have, yeah.
Okay,
Sometimes I
with the
do.
iPhone 12 Pro Max. Okay, that's good to
Right,
know.
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Mm.
Well, you what other questions do you have? Like, have there been some things that just haven't worked for you? With you're trying to figure out regarding the iPhone 12 Pro Max?
Yeah, it doesn't always work 100% for me. I mean, I miss calls and things. It's not, maybe it's not set up properly, but I find it dysfunctional, here and there. It doesn't always work. Um,
Interesting. Huh.
yeah, yeah. Anything that I do seems to not work, but maybe that it's made for 5G and I don't have 5G.
we have what Verizon calls a version of 5G in this area. So had some good success doing some broadcasts recently with it. It seems the signal has improved in some of the more rural areas. So that's good. Well, Janine, I really want to thank you for this test. It became the Mark and Janine show. Hopefully we can grow a community, maybe schedule things in advance, have some defined topics, and you'll be more than welcome to join again in the future and share and learn on this journey. How do you like this compared to HAPS?
Well, HAPS is something that's a little more remote. I don't know anybody that even knows about it up here. So it seems more, private, but YouTube seems to be way out there. So,
Yeah.
I'm a little more shy about going on YouTube, Twitter, and all that. But HAPS and Periscope was very, very, very good. Anytime I asked anybody if they knew about Periscope, they didn't. So I know that my broadcasts they went out to the world, but maybe not into my little group of people that I would feel more shy about broadcasting with.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting is that we can feel more comfortable with strangers in that
Yeah,
regard than the people who live around the corner.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you did some nice scopes from the beach there. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you very much, Janine, and we'll do this again. All right.
Okay. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Take care of yourself during this busy housing market.
Yeah, you bet. You too.
Okay. Thanks, Janine. And
Okay.
if anybody else is still out there watching at this moment, or you made it this deep into the replay, thank you very much. And feel free to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Share your thoughts. And maybe you have an interesting bit of expertise that you would like to share. We're all ears, especially if it's related to cameras, video, photography, live streaming. Yeah, love to hear what you might bring to the table. So that appeals to you, shoot me a message. You can do so at, let's see, let's go with M. Horner at beyond90seconds.com. M. Horner, that's M as in Mark, HORNER at beyond90seconds.com. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.